Welcome to the Melchizedek Cloister Tangible Structure of the Soul, Accelerated Biospiritual Evolution Program, an application of chelantic morphogenetic science, the science of light, sound, the subconscious symbol codes, and the base codes of matter, the science of consciousness and creation. You are listening to lecture tape number 1, Linking with the Solar Rishi, Opening to 15th Dimensional Guidance. All materials copyrighted 1999 by Anna Hayes Gruber. In the process of awakening the higher spiritual identity, it is most useful to develop skill in shifting the station of consciousness out of its usual, more tightly held focus of attention within the physical body into a more expanded state of awareness, through which the more subtle frequencies of higher dimensional cognition can begin to enter the conscious awareness. There are many good techniques of meditation available that will assist you in reaching your consciousness into more expanded states, and we recommend exploring various different practices. Our favorite technique for leading the consciousness into expansion is that of using directed imagery to create a mental picture of a small you, or a small body self, a symbolic image that serves as a vehicle into which your consciousness may be focused to begin its journey of expansion. In the exercise on side B of this tape, the small body self is used as a vehicle of consciousness through which you may begin to expand into the higher dimensional aspects of your own personal identity gestalt. When the earthly consciousness is focused into such a vehicle of transit, it is more easily moved into higher states of awareness. The structure of multidimensional identity is not difficult to comprehend once the underlying template or blueprint for identity is understood. The underlying template of consciousness upon which all manifest identity is built is called the morphogenetic field. The morphogenetic field possesses a specific structure and ordering of energy within the universal dimensional scales, and once the basic structure of identity is understood, it provides a simple roadmap through the multidimensional levels of personal consciousness. In terms of human consciousness, the personal morphogenetic field, or consciousness template, is structured upon 5 sets of 3 dimensions, or 15 dimensions, each dimensional level possessing a specific level of awareness, cognition, and identity, characteristic to the dimensional band in which it appears. The roadmap through the human psyche is not difficult to follow once the basic form of 15-dimensional structure is understood. In other writings, we have provided an in-depth analysis of the dimensional levels and stations of consciousness contained within the morphogenetic field of the human identity. For the following exercise, it is not necessary to comprehend the details of this interpsyche roadmap, other than to simply identify some of the primary landmarks of consciousness within the greater structure of 15-dimensional human consciousness. There are 8 primary landmarks of consciousness within the overall structure of human identity. The first 5 landmarks represent stations of consciousness that correspond to the 5 sets of 3 dimensions contained within the 15-dimensional construct of the human psyche. The final 3 landmarks of consciousness represent stations of consciousness that correspond to 3 non-dimensionalized reality fields, out of which all dimensional consciousness is formed. The 8 landmarks of consciousness within the structure of the human psyche are called Huva bodies. They exist in literal terms as structures of light, sound, and consciousness, upon which each aspect of identity is built. The first landmark in the human psyche is the Nada Huva body, which corresponds to dimensions 1 through 3, and contains within it the awareness of the physical, emotional, and mental bodies. The Nada Huva body includes the body consciousness, the subconscious mind, the emotional nature, the logical or egotistical mind, part of the intuitive mind, and represents portions of personal identity most familiar to the earth-based physical human. The Alpha Huva body is the second landmark of consciousness. It corresponds to dimensions 4 through 6 and contains within it the awareness of the superconscious mind, more commonly known as the human soul, or the soul matrix. The 3 levels of mind and stations of consciousness associated with the soul matrix and Alpha Huva body represent the first levels of transcendent human consciousness. Through the soul matrix, the earthly identity receives cognition of its eternal nature and becomes able to transcend the seeming limitations imposed by the finite physical form and egotistical personality focus. The third landmark of consciousness within the human psyche is the Beta Huva body, which corresponds to dimensions 7 through 9 and contains within it the 3 levels of awareness and identity known as the human oversoul. Through the oversoul and Beta Huva body, the human soul matrix is connected to the greater gestalts of higher dimensional identity that represent the family tree of consciousness, out of which each human individual emerges into individuation. As the consciousness of the earthly human expands into the frontiers of the higher dimensional identity, it becomes increasingly aware of itself as a gestalt of consciousness, or one identity composed of many. The identity no longer identifies itself solely by the images, personality traits, or confines of the physical body in earthly life drama. From the higher stations of consciousness of the Alpha and Beta Huva bodies, the soul and oversoul identities, greater perspective and understanding and creative power can be gained in regard to the earthly experience. The fourth landmark of consciousness is the Mahara Huva body, corresponding to dimensions 10 through 12, and contains within it the 3 levels of consciousness that compose the Avatar identity. The Avatar identity is the first level of meta-transcendent consciousness, through which the earthly identity can begin to experience itself not only as a gestalt of human consciousness, but also as an intrinsic part of the global, galactic, and universal structures of consciousness. From the focus of the avatar consciousness, the identity begins to fully recognize itself as a living wave of energy identity, no longer needing to identify with any one physical form or manifest image. It begins to know itself as part of all things and perceives all things in terms of living energy identity. From the avatar identity station, the illusions of space, time, matter, physicality, and manifestation are comprehended, and the true reality of interwoven patterns of consciousness becomes apparent. The 12-dimensional avatar identity of the Mahara Huva body represents the state of cognition referred to as Christ consciousness. It is the highest level of consciousness that can be fully synthesized through the physical DNA and neurological structure, and is thus the highest dimensionalized level of consciousness that can be embodied within a physical human form. The fifth landmark of consciousness within the human psyche is that of the Raja Huva body, which corresponds to dimensions 13 through 15 and represents what is called the Rishi identity. All stations of consciousness positioned within the lower dimensional fields originally entered dimensionalization through the identity structure of the Rishi and the Raja Huva body. However, not all beings have retained their organic energetic connection between the Mahara Huva and Raja Huva bodies. Only identities that have retained or who rebuild their connection to the Rishi identity gestalt and the Raja Huva body will have the ability to fully expand their consciousness and transmute their energetic structure out of dimensionalization and into the original form of pure consciousness and at-one-ment with Source, out of which their original creation emerged. The Rishi identity and Raja Huva body energetically connect the lower dimensional Huva bodies and stations of identity to the three final landmarks of consciousness, through which release or full ascension from dimensionalization occurs. The final three landmarks of consciousness within the structure of the human psyche are the Tanatra, Dhyamni, and Prema-Bhuva bodies, which correspond to the three non-dimensionalized reality fields that exist between the 15-dimensional structures of the time matrix and the original point of perpetual creation within Source God. The final three landmarks of consciousness represent the three stations of identity that constitute true ascended mastery in terms of consciousness evolving through expansion back into at-one-ment with Source. Human consciousness is designed as part of this evolutionary process of expansion toward at-one-ment, through which the Earth human identity can progressively expand its identity into its original form as a conscious, co-creative portion of the God mind. Most earthly humans have a long journey of evolution and expansion through many different life experiences in numerous dimensional fields before they will experience the states of cognition known as ascended mastery and at-one-ment with Source. However, this process of evolving through expansion of identity and consciousness can be greatly accelerated through understanding the general roadmap of the human psyche and consciously co-directing the evolutionary process from the earthly perspective, while working cooperatively with the higher stations of identity. The following exercise, linking with the solar Rishi, opening to 15th dimensional guidance, employs the technique of using a small u body image as a vehicle in which your earthly focused consciousness can begin its journey into the realms of higher dimensional identity. The purpose of this exercise is to begin training the conscious mind to move into higher vibrating fields of energy, through which an energetic link between the earthly identity in the Nadahuva body and the Rishi identity in the Rajahuva body can be established. The earthly identity must link to the Rishi identity through the Maharahuva body avatar identity, the personal Christ consciousness. In this exercise, the frequency patterns of the Maharahuva body, symbolized by the image of the silver shield, are transmitted into the body vehicle, then transferred into the bioenergetic system of the physical body to begin the process of awakening the avatar identity within the physical embodiment. Through the imagery of the following exercise, direct changes are being made to the morphogenetic templates for the physical body and consciousness, changes that will progressively trigger activation of dormant DNA codes and open dormant neural passageways and energy conduits within the brain and body. These biomorphogenetic adjustments prepare the physical body vessel to draw in and hold progressively higher dimensional levels of consciousness. Expanding the body's energy holding capacity allows the higher stations of identity to integrate with the earthly consciousness and expands the earthly identity progressively into its transcendent states of awareness. Through activities such as the following exercise, the process of evolution through expansion of consciousness is rapidly accelerated and set back upon its original intended course, and the earthly identity develops the ability to move itself consciously into higher dimensional fields of reality, experience, and perception. For the earthly incarnate identity, this begins the process of passing through the landmarks of consciousness within the human psyche, setting in motion the dynamics of co-creative conscious evolution toward eventual ascended mastery and a return to sentient at-one-ment with Source. The human identity is an eternal identity construct. We only seem as limited, finite creatures because we have lost our roadmap through the eternal portions of our own form. Through the Melchizedek Cloister Accelerated Biospiritual Evolution Program, we once again rediscover our roadmap to transcendence, through which we can once again become aware of our eternal nature and begin to consciously direct the path of our own evolution into the eternal fields of creativity out of which we originally emerged into manifestation. There is much more to our human identity than what exists between the top of our heads and the bottoms of our feet. It is time for us to reclaim our true heritage and remember the multidimensional, eternal beings that we are and have always been. Technique number 1 of the Melchizedek Cloister Tangible Structure of the Soul, accelerated by a Spiritual Evolution Program. Linking with the Solar Rishi, opening to 15th Dimensional Guidance. The Solar Temple Voyage, Advanced Technique. Assume a comfortable position in a quiet room where you will be undisturbed. Loosen any tight clothing that may distract you from relaxation as you begin your journey. Breathe slowly with eyes closed. Imagine the image of a large glowing sphere of white light positioned directly above your head. On the next inhale, imagine a small image of you rising up through the 7th crown chakra and into the sphere of white light. Feel the sensation of white light energy engulfing and moving through the small image of yourself and through your physical body as you inhale, while imagining the small image of you rising up into the sphere of white light. Exhale as you imagine yourself in a small body standing in the center of a white sphere of light. Breathe slowly and feel the reality of your small body for a moment as it stands within the center of the sphere of white light. Become aware of the shoulders of the small body. Feel them extending out slightly as you notice the contours of your small body. Become aware of the feeling of lightness, weightlessness that is carried within the shoulders of your small body. A feeling much lighter and more relaxed than the feeling you are familiar with in your physical body. Allow your awareness to move into this feeling of lightness and imagine a subtle but distinct cleansing vibration running throughout the energy of your small body. Feel the tingle of the cleansing vibration as it harmonizes the energies of your small body. Breathe gently now, moving the sensation of the cleansing vibration below your small body and into the crown chakra of the physical body, positioned beneath the image of your small body of light. Feel the lightness of energy release, releasing the tensions held within the shoulders of the physical body, and breathe a few deep, slow breaths, allowing the sensation of weightlessness to spread throughout the physical body. Notice now that the small body and the physical body are beginning to feel very similar as the cleansing vibration harmonizes the frequencies of both bodies into a compatible perceptual range. Feel the similarity in vibration between the two bodies for a moment, and shift your attention as fully as you can into the image of the small body positioned within the sphere of white light. From your position within the sphere of white light, open the eyes of your small body and look around, observing for the first time that which exists within you. Observe what exists inside of the sphere of white light. Become aware that you are standing within a spherical room and tell yourself to observe its characteristics. Observe the contours of the inner sphere and notice that many doors surround the spherical room in which you are standing. Within the sphere of white light, there are many passageways and doorways that lead to many different places within the higher dimensions, and that lead toward many different aspects of your own unique consciousness that are stationed within those dimensions. As you observe the many doors within the spherical room, breathe slowly and deeply, knowing that you have entered a state of neurological receptivity that will allow you to enter many other higher states of consciousness. Relax and find comfort in this knowing as you observe the inner doors. Become aware that you now have the power to access wisdom, memory, creativity, and guidance from the higher dimensions. You have entered an inner meeting place through which you may now create a conscious relationship with the divine. Stand comfortably within the sphere of the inner spherical room, glancing at the many doorways, and know that it is your birthright to enter this place. Know that you are welcome here, as you are an intrinsic part of the divine design. In this moment, forgive yourself for any shortcomings or inadequacies you believe you possess, and surrender all preconceived judgments about your personal worth and value that you have assigned to yourself in your earthly life. In this space, allow the judgments of others that may have been placed upon you to dissolve and float away from you. Allow yourself, as you stand in your small body within the spherical room of light, to experience the innocence and freedom of your true divine essence. Breathe slowly and gently as you allow this feeling of innocence to spread through you. Feel a final release of any fatigue you may have, and allow your consciousness to float in gentle suspension within the small body in the spherical room of light. Become aware of the sensations and feelings of this inner space of peace and light, and know that you can return here at any time to reclaim the sense of your true innocence and freedom. Breathe gently and relax within this inner space. Now observe as one of the many doors within the spherical room of light opens and a glowing being of light walks into the room. It is a Rishi from Harmonic Universe 5. Notice the location of the doorway through which the Rishi has come, and make a mental note to remember this doorway as the access point through which you may again contact the Rishi from the space of the inner spherical room of light. Feel the radiant presence of the glowing Rishi as it enters the space of the inner spherical room. Become aware of how the vibration of energy in the room now shifts to a much higher, clearer vibration. Feel the sensations as your small body now begins to vibrate faster, growing even lighter still as the high energy of the Rishi lifts the frequency of everything within the inner spherical room. As you observe the Rishi's energy affecting its surroundings, hold in mind the understanding that your consciousness is now connecting and being expanded by the consciousness from the 15th dimension. Your neurological structure is being subtly expanded to begin drawing in and holding the awareness contained within the higher dimensional fields. As you observe the Rishi from the position of your small body within the inner spherical room of light, know that you are witnessing a visual translation of an inner event of the psyche, an event through which your personal identity is consciously experiencing an encounter with a being of the 15th dimension. Through using the imagery of this visualization, you are accelerating the speed of your consciousness to a vibration that is fast enough to perceive and interpret activity taking place within the higher dimensional reality fields. Observe the Rishi now as your encounter with 15-dimensional consciousness continues. The Rishi walks towards you within the inner spherical room of light, and it now embraces you. Filling you with the transmission of light and knowledge. Feel the progressive increase in vibration within the inner spherical room as you visualize the Rishi walking towards you. Feel its energy emanate outward from the depths of its being, filling the room with greater light and gently bathing your small body with beautiful beams of pastel-colored light. Focus your attention on the feeling and sensation of each beam of light that caresses you, and realize that each gentle beam of light carries information within it. The Rishi is communicating with you directly through the beams of light, speaking of wisdom and knowing far beyond the scope of words alone. As the Rishi reaches out to embrace your small body with its great arms of light, feel the sensation as the information communicated by the Rishi moves into the energy of your small body until your small body can hold no more. Sense your small body reaching its capacity of holding the light information. Your consciousness is now filled with as much knowledge as it can hold at this time. Relax for a moment within the embrace of the Rishi. Feel its light beam communications continue to flow outward into the inner spherical room of light. The information you are unable to hold within your small body and consciousness today will be left for you in the form of light, awaiting your future journeys to the inner spherical room. Feel now the unconditional and absolute love radiated to you by the Rishi. Allow this love to fill you and heal all hurts or fears that you may carry. Here, within the arms of the Rishi consciousness, you are eternally safe, eternally loved, and can receive pure guidance whenever you desire. Feel now this safety, this love. Allow the vibration of these qualities to fill your small body and consciousness. For you will then take these qualities of higher consciousness back with you when returning to the physical body and earthly focus. Each encounter with the Rishi within this inner spherical room will allow you to bring more qualities of higher dimensional consciousness into embodiment within your physical reality. Each encounter will allow you to hold new levels of information and cognition. Before your consciousness leaves the space of the inner spherical room, the Rishi has a gift to present to you. A gift you may take back with you as your awareness re-enters your physical earthly body. Now the Rishi hands you a small disc of metal, a silver shield, and tells you to return to your physical body with the shield. It is now time to return your conscious awareness into its usual station within the physical earthly body. Take a slow, deep inhale breath as your small body prepares for its vibrational descent into your physical body. On the next exhale, imagine your small body still holding the silver shield, descending through the 7th crown chakra of the physical body. You will now slowly move the image of your little body down through the physical body and out of the base chakra. You will continue moving your small body through the base chakra to a position about 12 inches beneath your physical feet. Observe the sensations and vibrational changes as your small body moves through while it passes through the energy currents within the physical body. Notice how the sensation of vibration progressively slows and the feeling of the energy around you grows progressively more thick and dense as you move downward through the chakra system of the physical body. As you become aware of this downward shift in vibration, you will progressively shift the brainwave patterns generated by your consciousness into the alpha brainwave state. This state of consciousness is ideal for entering new information into the body's cellular memory and subconscious mind. As your small body passes through the first base chakra, you will notice a sense of the energy around you expanding a bit, forming a spiraling funnel of energy that grows wider toward the bottom. Allow your small body to drift downward within this spiral until you can sense that the small body is positioned about 6 inches beneath the physical feet, the location of the 12th chakra. Continue moving your small body downward through the 12th chakra until it is positioned within the earth, about 12 inches below the physical feet, 6 inches below the 12th chakra. You will now implant the gift of the Rishi, the Maharahuva seal, the silver shield, into the energetic systems of the physical body. Place the silver shield in the earth beneath the 12th chakra, 12 inches below the feet, and watch the shield expand to form a platform of high-frequency silver light upon which you will now stand from this point forth. The silver shield is an energetic construct made of dormant, standing scalar wave patterns that correspond to the portions of your personal consciousness that are stationed in dimensions 10, 11, and 12. These portions of personal identity are collectively called the Maharahuva body, and thus the silver shield is known as the Maharahuva seal. The Maharahuva body contains the 12 dimensions of personal Gestalt consciousness that are known as the Avatar identity or Christ consciousness. Once the silver shield has been planted beneath the 12th chakra, the energetic currents emanating from the earth core and into the human body will begin a progressive activation of the dormant scalar wave patterns of the silver shield. As the silver shield activates, the frequencies of the 10th, 11th, and 12th dimensions progressively enter your personal auric field, forming an energetic pillar of protection around the auric field, through which your earthly consciousness will begin a more accelerated expansion into its higher dimensional levels of identity. The 15th dimensional Rishi consciousness that provided the silver shield represents the portion of your higher dimensional Gestalt identity through which you are directly connected to the ascended master levels of consciousness and the God Source. Activating the silver shield accelerates the process of your personal expansion into avatar consciousness through progressively building an energetic link between your earthly consciousness and neurological structure and the portions of your consciousness that are stationed in dimensions 10, 11, and 12 of the Maharahuva body. In receiving future transmissions of light information from the Rishi within the inner spherical room, and bringing the gift of the silver shield back with you from each journey, you will progressively activate the silver shield scalar grid beneath your feet. Activation of the silver shield builds the frequencies of your body of light to accelerate conscious embodiment of your avatar levels of identity. For a moment, focus your consciousness within the image of your small body as it is positioned 12 inches below your physical feet. Notice the silver shield, now firmly planted 12 inches beneath your feet, and imagine it glowing with radiant silver energy. Feel the sensation of the silver energy vibrating for a moment. And make a mental note to recall the sensation once you have returned to the physical body, so that you may use the sensation to stimulate the silver shield beneath your feet when you so desire. Slowly inhale and exhale one final time while observing the silver shield. Then prepare to re-enter the physical body. Return the image of your little body into the physical body, entering the first base chakra and moving upward through the central vertical current of the body to the pineal gland at the center of the brain. Open your eyes. Sense the feeling of the glowing silver shield beneath your feet. Allow it to draw to you the love, comfort, and wisdom of the Rishi whenever you need these qualities. You may use the image of the silver shield for healing and energy balancing whenever you desire. Simply call to mind the image of the silver shield beneath your feet and the sensation of the silver energy. Then consciously use your inhale breaths to draw silver energy upward from the shield and into the area of the body in need of healing. On the exhale breath, expand the silver energy into the body area, holding in mind the thought and intention of the desired healing or balancing. Continue breathing energy from the silver shield until you feel a sense of completion or full expansion as the body area reaches its energy holding capacity. You may assist in the acceleration of activating the frequencies of the silver shield by using this Rishi exercise frequently. Each time, you will further energize the silver shield with light transmissions from the Rishi, making more energy available within the shield for healing, balancing, and consciousness expansion applications. You may draw from the silver shield not only energies that will assist in healing, but also the frequencies of protection, love, patience, wisdom, understanding, and other qualities that are characteristic of the state of cognition known as Christ consciousness. We will end this exercise with a simple toning that will facilitate the activation of the silver shield and begin awakening the 8th dimensional frequencies of your 8th chakra. This toning is called the Arya Kumnare, the Song of Orion. This toning represents one of the 12 song tone combinations that are known as the music of the spheres. The Arya Kumnare is the music of the 8th sphere, the 8th dimensional aspect of human and universal consciousness. You may memorize the Arya Kumnare and use it as a mantra when you need healing or balancing. Repetition of the Arya Kumnare progressively stimulates the activation of the Maharahuva seal, silver shield. The Arya Kumnare, Song of Orion. Om Medahi Paramha, Om Medahi Paramha, Paramha He Dita He Humna, Om Medahi Paramha. Treti Lahi Durumna, Treti Lahi Durumna, Durumna He Khemta He Kumna, Om Medahi Paramha. Om Medahi Paramha, Om Medahi Paramha, Paramha He Dita He Humna, Om Medahi Paramha. Treti Lahi Durumna, Treti Lahi Durumna, Durumna He Khemta He Kumna,